I get to open with another top 3.
You do.
All right. Tonight on the Media Virus Podcast, AI surveillance in schools is on the rise. Great, because if there's anything kids need, it's more strangers watching them online. Next up, a PE teacher gets busted for Googling how to disappear without a trace. A company claims their quantum computer solved a problem in 20 minutes that would take traditional computers 1,000,000 years. Yeah, sure. I also solved my childhood trauma in 20 minutes with whiskey and denial. And in the UK, AI-powered traffic cameras are now spotting drivers on their phones and not wearing seatbelts. In unrelated news, British drivers are now duct taping mannequins to their passenger seats and training parrots to hold their phones. All that and more after the intro.
Shut up and sit down.
It's the Media Virus Podcast. Now here's your infection team.
Probably, I probably could have written a monologue for this too. And Eric is not here to make fun of me. So what is it that we're gonna? All right, I hate that.
Okay.
I don't hate it. It's just when I'm talking, it's
Well, it doesn't duck properly,
right. What?
and you end up competing with it.
So you might be confused if you're a fan of the show, and you know that this is B Block, and you know how every show starts, and you're like, wait a minute, B Block doesn't have a top 3 teaser. B Block doesn't start tonight. It never has ever started tonight on the Media Virus Podcast. What the fuck is going on? Well,
It's reasonable.
I decided to see how far I could push Bite Reynolds, as in a pinch, to see what would happen.
Uh-huh.
Hang on, I just started a video. Sorry, did that come through?
No, but the audio must have been trying to drive through because your audio got weird.
Yeah, sorry. So I asked Bite, on Monday, I think, Sunday or Monday. I was like, hey, Bite, I'm looking for shows to, talk about on the show. I'm looking for stories to talk about on the show. And it goes and it finds me these 5 stories.
Right.
And I just, out of curiosity, I go, cool, write a B block, or write an A block, is what I said. Write an A block.
Okay.
And it did. Pretty reasonable, and it started.
You've been writing scripts with Bite for a while, and you've actually fed scripts into him, so he knows what they look like.
He knows what a script looks like, and what. As a matter of fact, the last thing I did, I think you might have been on. You might have been on with me. No, well, this is what I did: is I took the script, this week's script, I uploaded it,
right,
and I said, "Give me transitions between the blocks."
Right. I was. We were on together at that
point. That impressed me. I was like, "Holy fuck!" And I popped those in.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, dude, A block was hated than a nun's twat.
Yeah, we
nailed it.
I think it ended up being like 33 minutes. My audio is probably going to be 32-ish, if I had to guess.
Yeah.
Maybe a little less, but it'll be about a half an hour.
Which is right in the sweet spot, right where we want it. And but we usually write a joke for every story we're going to do.
Yep.
Where it took top 3 literally.
Yep.
Because it's always marked top 3, so it only gave us 3 jokes. And wrote a monologue for you. And as a matter of fact, from what we've gathered here, there's no delineation on who's supposed to read what.
There is.
Is there?
Yeah, there is. And you're right. It gives it in this script. It gives me the monologue, and my entrance is a bit winded, but it does toss to you ultimately.
Oh well, then let's go ahead, because I didn't do
All right.
We've done very little on this.
All right.
And we're starting at 5. All right. Yeah, well, we've already done the top. So go ahead.
Welcome back to the Media Virus Podcast, where we point and laugh as the world burns. I'm the Reverend Professor Mike Latoris, and let's dive into the horror show, shall we? So apparently AI-powered surveillance tools are now monitoring kids in schools to prevent violence and mental health crises. Because nothing helps an anxious teen quite like knowing a robot is reading their DMs. Schools claim these AI tools can spot threats before they happen, but let's be real. Half these kids are just posting memes about how much they hate Mondays. How long before some poor 9th grader gets put on a watch list for writing a Garfield fanfic? Even worse, security experts are already pointing out massive privacy risks. Hackers could potentially access all this student data. Oh, you thought your naked baby pics were getting leaked by Facebook was bad? Just wait until colleges start rejecting applicants because their AI record says they sent 42 kill me texts during finals week. But hey, at least we know who really wins here. The companies selling this surveillance tech. Because why solve real problems when you can just monetize paranoia?
I mean, not for nothing, dude. When I was like in high school, you know, because what I was like, Garfield fanfic. Who the fuck would write Garfield fanfic? But then, like, when I was, you know, like a freshman, sophomore in high school,
Yeah.
I wrote a couple of short stories. One of them was called Nightmare on Sesame Street.
Right.
Which is your basic, you know, Oscar goes on your murderous rampage, killing people with,
Sure.
you know, different things. And then there was the New Jersey Weed Whacker massacre, which was it was about a guy that he killed people with a weed whacker. It was very painful. You know, and I feel like if people were reading that, you know, they might think that there's something wrong with me.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
You know,
because people read that and thought there was
something
wrong with me. Yeah.
Yeah, but when I guess we were probably sophomores in high school, we had a word processing class, and a bunch of us brought an extra disc, and we were round robin writing, kind of the way that you and I write, and sometimes involve some other people, and bounce it around. We were writing this saga of we included everyone in the class as a character, and kind of dropped them in some weird saga, sort of like when Archer started to get weird, and then all of a sudden they were in space, or all of a sudden they were in the 30s, you know. So
yeah,
it was really fun, but like if somebody read it, I mean, they would definitely be concerned that there's something wrong with us.
If anybody out there wants to be a part of the show, but they don't know what they can do, if you just change the slides for us, we just want somebody to change. I go through I
mean, dude, I would be totally open to that.
Just some guy to come on and just change the slides.
Yeah, you don't have to be on camera. It's not an on-camera position.
Yeah, just somebody to do that.
Just run the backside, and maybe give you the responsibility for the phone.
There you go. All right, let's go on to the second story.
Okay. Anyway,
I can change it right now. Here.
Did you change it?
I did.
All right. Moving on from surveillance state to the future of computers, where things get way too complicated for any of us to understand. Quantum computing company D-Wave claims they've achieved quantum supremacy, meaning their quantum computer did in 20 minutes what a traditional supercomputer would take 1 million years to solve. 1 million years. That's some real my homework got eaten by the black hole energy. I don't know about you, but I don't trust any math that takes longer to verify than human civilization has existed.
That's kind of like, dude, 1 million. How the fuck do you know that?
Right?
And you can't prove it.
No.
And computers keep getting better. You know what I mean? There's going to be a point in time where that supercomputer is going to be retail available.
Right.
You know what I mean? Someone's going to figure out how to do it. They're going to figure out how to manufacture that shit in China.
How to make it smaller.
How to make it small. How to make it fit in your fucking pocket. You know, and how to have it, you know.
One of my favorite little factoids is NASA sent the computing power that NASA sent to the moon in 1969.
It's in your pocket.
What's in your pocket is more.
No, yeah.
Far more. So, I mean, it's not mind numbing because, you know, things, you don't get to the point of the computer in your pocket without doing space raw. You know, if you raw dog space like we did, that's how you get to the computer in your pocket. I assure you.
Dude, here's the thing. Not only did they have supercomputers, they had black chicks in the back.
Doing the math.
The computers weren't even doing the math. The black chicks were doing the math.
Right?
You know what I mean?
And, you know, scientists are already calling BS on this claim. And I get it. Last time I made a claim about finishing something in record time, I got laughed out of the bedroom. But at least I had the decency to admit it afterward.
That's a pretty good joke for AI.
It is. And AI comes back in the third story.
Yes, it does.
Over in the UK, Big Brother has a new toy. AI-powered traffic cameras that can spot drivers using their phones or not wearing seatbelts. Finally, a system that lets robots judge you for being an irresponsible asshole. These cameras have led to a 14% spike in speeding fines, and here's the kicker. They don't even need human review anymore. That means you could get a ticket from a machine, appeal to another machine, and lose your case all before you even finished yelling, "This is bullshit," at your dashboard. This might be for safety, but how long before AI gets too smart? You're telling me a machine can detect a phone in your hand, but can't tell where your driver's license photo looks nothing like you? Mark my words, one day, these AI cameras are going to start fining people for flipping off speed traps. And that will be the day we riot.
We should riot before that.
Okay.
Just so everybody knows. That's my.
Where's the line in the sand? Where's the line in the sand?
And before that.
All right. Let us know. Let me know when we're getting close to the line.
Okay.
And let's shift away from artificial intelligence again to the mystery of actual life. Scientists at Stanford now think life on Earth may have started from tiny electrical sparks in crashing waves. They're calling it microlightning. So basically, the theory is that little electric charges inside moving water molecules kickstarted the chemistry needed for life. If true, this would mean all of human existence started because nature got zapped. And that tracks. Ever touch a doorknob after rubbing your socks on the carpet? That's basically how we got here.
All winter. I don't wear the same shoes. My house is not carpeted. I have a rug, but it's like, you know, mostly laminate flooring.
But
I shock myself on I'm tall, so my head hits the light, the dangly light thing, shocks it every time.
It's because it's so dry. We've had a really dry winter, and you know, working in the vault, it's humidity is stabilized in there, but it's so low, it drives me crazy, dude. My hand, after my full week of work in there, my hands are so dry. I can't keep up with it.
Well, I guess you need low humidity for paper and such.
Yeah.
But how we came up with these graphics, just so everybody knows, is we just fed the story, fed this story into, and said create an image, and this is the image that we got from Grok.
Mm-hmm.
And I like the DNA strands that kind of loop and turn into something, and then the bird, there's a DNA, and the lightning strikes, and then there's a soldier carrying an alligator. Then there's an alligator over here for some reason, but then there's this primordial Wendy's sign.
Yeah, I mean,
out of the ooze, for some reason there's a Wendy's sign, and I don't, clear as day, like it wouldn't spell our name that clearly.
Right.
And that Wendy's is nowhere in the story.
Well, but this honestly, it explains Florida. Microlightning hit the wrong batch of swamp water, and the next thing you know, we've got alligator wrestlers and Florida man robbing Wendy's with an alligator. Scientists are calling this a revolutionary new theory, but I just call it shocking.
I don't know why that took, like, I read it before. It tickled me before, but not like that. You know what I mean? I don't know.
I think it may be the voice it's delivered in.
It could be. But I find that fascinating, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, you just, whatever was in the seawater got a little electrified, and boom, that was the catalyst for life. That's pretty spectacular.
It's almost like God did something. Like he had to create the conditions. You know what I mean? God's everywhere, dude. You know what I mean?
It's all about what you believe, I guess.
It's like I'm becoming like very not religious,
but spiritual.
But there's a God, dude. Like, you know what I mean? And like I guess I said this before to you, I think. And I dig Jesus. He was pretty cool. Yeah, Jesus was kind of fucking badass. His fan club sucks. Those people are assholes.
Agreed.
But anyway, I forget what we were talking about. But
I was gonna tell you about Click on the BBC. It's ending after 25 years.
And why should we give it? Oh, wait a minute.
Let's take a moment to pour one out. For a long-time tech show, the BBC's Click just aired its final episode after 25 years. They're replacing it with Tech Now, a new digital-first format. Man, Click covered everything, from the rise of smartphones to AI to virtual reality, and now they've been replaced by the very technology they helped hype up. And that's
I feel like they're like just changing the name of the same show and maybe putting different people in. It's a tech show.
Yeah, it's a different tech show, I think. Yeah.
A different tech. I mean, yes, it's a different tech show. But, you know, back when 25 years ago in 2000, you know, things clicked.
Yeah.
Things clicked. You didn't click. Dude, Erica gets angry at me for dumb shit.
Yeah.
So she has this conversation with me a couple of days ago. Okay. Where she's we want to go for walks. The dog has never been leash trained. She just pulls.
Right.
And especially in this neighborhood. She's better in other neighborhoods, but in this neighborhood, it's her house. She wants to go. And she's like, you know, and Erica's trying to give me tips on how to do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And high value treats. And I'm like, this dog, I don't know if you ever tried to get her to pay attention to you outside.
Not easy.
But you could have filet mignon. She doesn't give a shit. You understand what I'm saying? She does not care.
Well, yeah.
So the newest thing was that she wanted to get a clicker, like just it snaps, makes that noise, and it's for dog training. And I know what it is.
Right.
Well, she ordered one, and it came today. And she said, Kenny's clicker came.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess I didn't answer fast enough.
Right.
And she said, the idea is that we click it and give her a treat, so she associates the sound with a command and food.
Something positive.
Right.
Yeah.
Because all it says is Kenny's clicker came. Right. And then she goes, the idea is, she explains it again.
Right.
And I said, oh, I thought you bought her a remote control for the TV. Fuck.
That's great. But
Like, if she had just told me the clicker came, I would have went and got it. It was like nothing.
But people younger than us don't necessarily associate the word clicker.
Right. But she would, because her. No, I understand.
Yeah.
And I knew she would get the joke. That's why. No, she did get it, because she sent me an emoji of a happy face melting. Like, she had no idea what to do with that.
Do you know the origin of of why it was called the clicker?
Well, because the originals, it just up and down.
No,
it would click the fucking.
That you're right. It was up. I think you had on, off, up, and down.
Yeah, but it made a click noise. Right,
but the click noise was the beauty thing, because they weren't IR back then. It was actually the click that it made was picked up by a microphone on the set and passed through a series of filters that, okay, if it was this frequency click, do this. If it was that frequency click, do that. And they had it set up for the 3 clicks. It was, like I said, it was on and off was just, you hit the power button here and then channel up and down. That was it.
Yeah.
But it was literally the noise. The thing in your hand just made that clicking noise, and it was called the clicker.
So the clicker. Give me the clicker, man.
Give me the clicker. Is the clicker in the couch?
Ah, Christ. Did you lose the clicker?
I think it's in the couch.
And then I was gonna follow it up. I didn't, because I had already pushed, she gets sick of my shit. And not for nothing, but I'd be much more impressed with a fucking TV remote that a dog could use than just some piece of shit plastic that makes a click. You know what I mean?
I'm with you. Yeah.
So,
I mean, if you give me a remote, the dog can watch what they want.
That's what we need to start working on that.
That's like some engineering there.
I'd be a lot more impressed. I'm just saying. We went off script. Where are we going?
Honestly, this is now the media cycle, Matt. Long-running shows get scrapped while some 19-year-old with an iPhone and a ring light takes over. R.I.P. Click. You were the last show that could explain quantum computing without making me feel like a complete idiot. And now, folks, this is
the B block.
The B block. We've covered AI spying on your kids, quantum computing outpacing human civilization, traffic cameras getting smarter than cops, and the shocking origin of life, and the fall of a 25-year-old tech show. Now, before we head into the B block, I can feel Maddie's been holding some rage. So, Maddie, you got something you need to get off your chest, bud?
First of all, we'd be going into the C block. Okay. Yeah, but it's dude, it's not even the surveillance that scares me anymore. It's the inevitable slippery slope. I mean, right now it's AI reading kids' online messages. Jesus Christ, I gotta have burps now, right? Because I'm all worked up. Fucking, but it's the inevitable.
Did you get the agita?
I got the angina.
You can go get a brioski.
It's the slippery slope. Right now the AI is reading kids' online messages and finding you for eating bags of chips while you're driving. But where does it stop? I'll tell you where it stops. It stops when I fucking change the goddamn slide. But it stops when AI decides that you're not productive enough and cuts off your access to the grocery store, or when your fridge refuses to open because you failed to hit your step count for the week. When your damn toilet won't flush until you pay off your water overuse fine. They say it's all about safety and efficiency, but give it a decade. These AI cameras won't just be catching drivers on their phones. They'll be scanning your face to determine if you're happy enough to be out in public. You think your phone listening to you is creepy? Wait until the toaster refuses to toast your bread because you tweeted something problematic. We are one bad algorithm away from living in a dystopian hellscape where a RoboCop named Compliance Bot 3000 is kneeling on your neck because you walked out of a crosswalk there 2 seconds early. And people will defend it because they're convinced it's for their own good. They're grateful to our AI overlords for keeping them safe from their own humanity. But sure. Let's keep pumping AI into every part of lives because what could possibly go wrong? It's not like every science fiction warning for the last 50 years has been about exactly this.
Well, that was hopeful. Thanks, Maddie. When we come back, we've got more chaos to break down. So don't go anywhere unless the AI already locked you in your house. Don't go anywhere, you degenerates. In the C block, we're diving into the steamy side of wizardry with a former Harry Potter star's new side hustle and exploring how an ex-Disney darling is redefining family entertainment, one OnlyFans subscription at a time. TMVP will be right back. This episode of the Media Virus Podcast is brought to you by 302-46-VOICE. That's 302-46-VOICE. If you want my voice on your project, dial 302-46-VOICE today. Don't forget to check out our sister show on the Media Virus
I ran
Podcast
it just
Network,
to make it
Step
sound
Moms
good.
Without Children. Join Ricky Rockdeff as she takes a deep dive into the fascinating people she meets and thinks that you should meet too. Find Stepmoms Without Children at themediavirus.com, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your fine podcasts. Special thanks to MySportsReports.com and DelawareSports.com.
It's like you really
delivering
like
regional
some
sports
boys.
coverage straight to your devices via stream and podcast. Learn more at MySportsReports.com and DelawareSports.com. If you wish to sponsor the Media Virus Podcast, email your contact information to pml@themediavirus.com with the subject line sponsor, or leave us a message at 646-VIRUS01. On behalf of the infection team and our feckless leader, Maddie Rockdeff, I'm the Reverend Professor Mike Latoris, coming to you live high atop Uncle Butch Studios, with one hand firmly on the pulse and the other clawing for a shred of sanity. This has been the Media Virus Podcast. We'll be back next week. Find us at themediavirus.com, on social media, or download us now from your favorite podcast platform. Fucking guy loves to hear himself talk, right?
Oh, fuck, dude. Never shuts the fuck up. Yeah. I guess we're done. It's 27 minutes. We're going to talk for 3 minutes. All right, bye.